Okay, peeps, welcome back. So today we're going to be going over the buy, sells, and dividends for the 16th of June through the 22nd of June. With that being said, let's get it. Okay, so I'm going to go over M1 real quick because, as you guys know, this thing has kind of like a time security lockout. So if I don't use it for like a few minutes or something, it'll just kick me out of the account. So dividends, pretty much we just got a penny from PSEC. Again, we don't really get paid a lot in the middle of the month from dividend paying stocks or ETFs. We're hoping to change this in the future, but it's part of the reason why we buy things like QDTE, YMEG, and YMAX, because it does give us, generally speaking, more income towards the middle of the month. So not much in dividends, just 1 cent from PSEC. Go over to trading here. So I want to show you guys this. So we basically rolled money from triple QY. So one sell and flowed that money basically into NVDY. As you guys know, NVDY has been exceptional, very exceptional in performance. If you guys saw our last video where we talked about all of the different implications and things to consider about investing in high yield dividend ETFs, I don't know if you guys noticed, but from the time of inception for NVIDIA until the current date, the price itself is up 50% almost, not including the dividends. So, you know, like Ethan says, we want to put our money where it's best loved. Shout out to Ethan. It does make perfect sense, right? When you want to make money, you want to basically go where the money goes. You want to capitalize on opportunity as much as possible. If you're not getting money in one area, why would you just leave it there and not go capitalize on something else? So in the case of triple QY and the Defiance ETFs, yes, we did get rid of those. We took about a net $400 loss, which again is not a big deal because we made more than that this week in dividends and options. So essentially we lost nothing, plus the dividends that we received from the Defiance ETFs actually were more than the capital loss on the price. Okay. And so understand this. When tax time comes around, yes, we will get taxed on, I'm pretty sure it's going to qualify as non-qualified dividends for the Defiance ETFs. So we'll have to pay taxes on those dividends, but we'll also be able to tax loss harvest the $400. So with that being said, we're expecting the tax burden from the Defiance ETFs to be lesser than the tax loss harvesting amount of $400. So effectively negating any tax burden from that perspective. So anyways, we basically just moved the Defiance ETFs over into some other ETFs, which I'm going to get into here in a minute. So let's get into some numbers here. So in terms of dividends from Robinhood, we got dividends from YMEG, YMAX, and QDTE. I'll go over those actual numbers here in a minute, but I'll just show you guys what the numbers are. So the total here is $244.62. In terms of the positions that we bought AMC, HUD8, FEPI, MSTY, Crash, which is the Tesla inverse, YBIT, NVDY, Coney, QDTE, and AMZY. Again, if I go over the portfolio here, you guys can see that we no longer have the Defiance ETFs. They are gone. They are out of this portfolio. Reason being is because the price was just kept going down too much, and we kind of felt like putting the money into something else would be a better idea, especially while we're total return positive at this point. So what we did is we took the funds from that, which I think totaled like roughly around 3,000 or something, and we put, if I'm not mistaken, we put 25% of the money into. So we did an allocation of 25, 25, 25%, and then like 12.5 or something like that. So 25% in NVDY, 25% MSTY, and 25% CONY. Again, NVDY, Kingmaker, the tech companies, right? And MSTY and Coney, MicroStrategy and Coinbase, crypto-based ETFs. Again, we are still very bullish on those for the next 12 to 18 months. So those are the 325s, and then the 12.5 went into QDTE and AMZY. So that's that. In terms of profits from basically our Robinhood account, we didn't have any on M1, unfortunately, but from Robinhood, we did get $10.81 from FEPI, $166 and flat from 200 shares of HUD8. Again, that was the cover call on HUD8. I don't remember exactly what the cost basis is right now. I'll have to look at it. But our cost basis is like 9 something or 10 something. I can't remember exactly, but the strike price was 11.50 if I'm not mistaken. So basically $88 per 100 shares times 2 contracts. 3903 from NVIDIA, 4781 total from QDTE, and 1470 from SPYT. So the total for those numbers comes out to $278.35. That's in terms of profits. Now, options premiums, we'll go over that right now. So options on the week, Palantir, entry date 6/17, it's a covered call. The closing date is going to be 7/12. That's $50 times 1 contract. CLSK, which is Clean Spark, 6/17 entry date, covered call. Closing date 7/12. That's $40 times 1 contract. Mara 6/17 covered call. 6/21, $19 times 1 contract. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it expired worthless. So we simply got to keep the shares. They didn't get called away to profit, unfortunately. HUD 8, 6/17 cash secured put. 6/21, it would have been the exit date. So basically yesterday, $46. So 23 times 2 contracts, minus $6 to close early. So basically $40 in premium. HUD 8 again, but this time it's a covered call. So the entry date was 6/17, closing date was 6/21, which was yesterday. And this was the 2 contracts we made $166 on profit on. We also got $60 in premiums, so 30 times 2 contracts. Mara once again, but this time it's a cash secured put. So 6/20 is the entry date. 6/28 is going to be the closing date. That is $50 times 1 contract. And again, that is $19.50 on the strike price. HUD 8 was actually $11.50 on the strike price, and the strike price for the cash secured put was $10.50, which it never got down to. The Mara covered call was a $21 strike price, which Mara is way below that at this point, because for some reason the market was super bullish at the start of the year, or start of the week, I mean, and then towards the end of the week it kind of dumped off for whatever reason. I'm not exactly sure what. So CLSK, this was a covered call, and the strike price is $24, so just above break even. But again, the expiration is quite a ways out. And oh, right, one more. So Palantir, the strike price on that is $25. It did actually go above that, but again, the expiration isn't until roughly about the middle of next month, so it has a lot of time to move around in between now and then. So in terms of options premiums, the total amount this week is $259, as you guys can see here. So the total here in terms of basically total on the week is $781.97. Again, that's pretty good because, typically speaking, we don't really make a lot around the middle of the month. It is around the middle of the month, and I would say the middle of the month for us would be anything from probably like the 13th to the 23rd. Not a lot of dividends coming in then. Again, we want to get to a point between options premiums and dividend paying stocks and day trading to where we're getting plenty of income in the middle of the month, but these things are going to take time. Plus, we also locked in another $1,700 in futures from yesterday, so not too worried about that. So that's the total. Now let's go over the actual. Let's see here. So let's go over the actual dividends in Robinhood, so you guys can see this for yourself. So we'll go down to YMAX here. So YMAX, you guys can see we got $184.07 here on the 17th. Again, that is between the 16th and the 22nd. So I'm now going to go down to QDTE. So QDTE, this one you guys can see we got $21.24 here. That was literally just yesterday. And I'm going to go down to YMAG, which is basically the Mag 7 version of YMAX, minus all of the other ETFs that they have. So again, YMAX is a little bit more diversified. So you can see YMAG here is $39.30. Of course, we don't have as much in YMAG, but still pretty good as far as I'm concerned. So that goes over the dividends that we received here. So we'll now go over the positions that we actually bought. So AMC bought a little bit more this week. We did not buy anything on either Webull or M1 Finance, just so you all know. So you can see the average cost basis here is 668, 910 shares. Again, that's roughly about $6,000. We are expecting at some point this thing is going to squeeze. We're willing to wait. If it takes a month, 3 months, 6 months, 10 months, whatever. We're used to it. It does happen sometimes. We're not really too concerned about it. If anything, we may just add more in the future and continue to do options on it. So you can see we added a little bit more here, basically just $20 this last week. Not much, but if it does a 2, 3, 4, 5x, that's going to be a pretty juicy profit. I would say it's going to be pretty huge. So I'm trying to find HUD 8 here. Where is it? I really don't like that they kind of don't have the miners listed together and then like all the dividend ETF stuff listed together. That kind of is a little bit worrisome. So 1067, that's our average cost basis. So 1150 minus 1067 times 200 shares, that's what the profit would have been. So I'll go over here to show more. Let's see if I can find it here. So right, so here's the buy for the 200 shares. So we basically just did the 200 shares and then did a covered call, and it did actually get called away in profits. So that's always good. Of course, HUD 8's one of those dividend paying stocks, or not dividend paying stocks, Bitcoin miners that could do like a 3, 4, 5x. It's possible. I mean, the previous all-time high was $80. It's only sitting at $12 right now, so that really says a lot. So FEPY or FEPI. So again, I'm going to go over basically the market buys. We don't usually do limit orders on these. We just buy them at whatever the market price is. We don't really care because we just kind of let the market do its thing. So you guys can see we added $373 here. That was the 12.5%. So 6.75 shares here. We did take a little bit of profit on these. So there's that. Added 2.7 shares here. And then that's it for FEPI. Let's see, MSTY, we have almost 100 shares of this, so we've actually reduced the cost basis quite a bit. But again, MicroStrategy and Coinbase, they're gonna. It would not surprise me if MicroStrategy was over $2,000, maybe even $2,500 a share by the time the peak of the bull run takes place next year sometime, and Coinbase over $500 a share. I would not be shocked. So, honestly, we're actually expecting MSTY to hit like $50 a share, and Coinbase maybe $35 to $40 a share. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, to be honest. So we're down a little bit on MSTY, but again, we have been adding to this as kind of an additional extra crypto strategy play. So you guys can see that we added quite a bit of shares here. Give me a second so I can scroll up. For some reason, it always wants to keep going to the bottom of the page. I don't know why. So 25.88 shares yesterday, and then 8.19 shares on the 20th. We put some of the money that we made from some of the profits we got into this. That's why it's such a large amount. 1.32 shares on the 18th and 1.1 shares on the 17th here. Plus also the dividend we got this month on the 7th, $165. So I'm going to go down to Crash here, which again, I'm very much looking forward to them creating more inverse ETFs for some of these, especially the crypto related ones, because people might actually still want to buy Coney and MSTY, but the inverse version during a crypto bear market, because the price of those will go up and the dividends will obviously be huge. So of course, the yield max fund managers, they can do what they want, but I'm just saying it would be a pretty lucrative opportunity if they did. Again, it's their choice, but I think that it would be beneficial for both them and for investors, in my opinion. Okay, so 10 shares of basically short Tesla or Crash here at 1926. So you guys can see we bought some of that. Going to go down to the YBIT. We actually weren't really going to buy a lot of YBIT because we already had Coney and MSTY. But the if BITO and Bitcoin are going to go to new all-time highs, which we think they are, this thing could actually still go up in price, if I'm being completely honest. Okay, so you guys can see $195.97 here, 11 shares on Bito, or not, sorry, not Bito, Ybit. So Coney, we have nearly 180 shares of this, so it's actually become quite a large position. You can see we're still down quite a bit though, but not to worry. Eventually, at some point, this thing will go back up. I mean, I can't say definitively that it will go back up, but based on cycle timing, I would say there's a likelihood that Coinbase probably and Coney probably will go up again. So June 21st, $36.71 here, as you guys can see. Basically, that's one of the 25% buys here. So roughly about 37 shares. Okay, so now down to QDTE. This is roughly about 80 shares as of currently. Fortunately, QDTE has got large enough now to where you can select between shares and dollars. We always like having that option because sometimes we don't actually want to buy the shares, or we're not trying to allocate just enough money to buy X number of shares every month. We like having the option of buying fractionals if we want to. So let's see here. So we got 8.16 shares here on basically yesterday, as you guys can see here. Again, that's that 12.5%. And the last one that we have is AMZ, which, if I'm not mistaken, was just the general average cost basis yesterday. So yeah, we added another just $150 DCA on the day for 6.77 shares here. So anyways, this is our buy, sells, and dividends for the week. Hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.